Ever feel like you're just drowning in investment options? You hear about stocks, crypto, mutual funds, and it is a lot. What if you had a simple cheat sheet that could just point you in the right direction? Well, that's exactly what we're going to build right now. Let's do this.
I mean, this is the big question, isn't it? And the answer is definitely not one size fits all. Seriously, what works for someone else, what makes them a ton of money, could be a total disaster for you. Your personality, how much cash you have, your goals, it all has to be part of the equation.
So to make this easy, let's just frame it as a little game. By the time we're done, you're going to have a personal profile that matches your unique situation and points you toward a specific type of asset to start looking into. You ready? Okay, so to play this game, you've got to know the rules. And the rules are built on 4 key personal variables. Figuring out where you stand on each of these is the absolute first step to finding your perfect match. Here they are: risk, time, money, and skill. So for each one, I just want you to think, am I high or am I low? You can literally grab a piece of paper and write it down. This is going to create your personal investment code. First up, risk. Are you the kind of person who sees a 20% drop in your portfolio and just goes on with your day? Or does even the thought of losing a little bit of money make your heart pound? Be really honest with yourself. Are you high risk or are you low risk? Next up is time. And we're talking about active, focused time here. Do you have hours every single day to pore over charts and keep up with the news? That's high time. Or, like most people, do you have a full-time job, a family, and a life that means you can maybe check in once in a while? That's low time.
Variable number 3 is capital, money. Are you working with a pretty significant amount that you're ready to put to work, or are you just starting out with a smaller sum? Now, having more capital can open up some different strategies because, frankly, you can afford to lose a bit more. So mark yourself down, high or low. And finally, skill. How much do you actually know right now? Have you spent time studying fundamental analysis? Can you read a technical chart? If so, that's high skill. But if you're new to all this, hey, that's totally fine. Just be honest and mark down low skill. Remember, every single type of asset requires learning. This is just about figuring out your starting point. All right, you should now have your 4-part code, something like high, low, high, low. Now for the fun part. Let's head over to the cheat sheet itself and find the profile that matches your code. Okay, first up, the all-high profile. We're talking high risk, high time, high money, and high skill. The source suggests this profile is a match for trading crypto derivatives. So what are those? They're basically complex financial products that get their value from crypto like Bitcoin. They move fast and they're super liquid. But listen, they are extremely volatile. You can make a lot, but you can also lose a lot very, very quickly. This is the deep end for sure. But what if you have all the time, money, and skill, but your stomach just can't handle that kind of risk? Your risk tolerance is low. In that case, the source points towards trading blue chip stocks. We're talking about the big, stable, household name companies. The risk is generally considered lower than crypto, but because you have high time and skill, you can still use active trading strategies to try and find profits. Now, what if you're low on time, you're good with risk, you have the money and the skill, but you've got a day job? You just can't be a day trader. Well, the source suggests looking into swing trading crypto. This just means you're holding your positions for days or maybe even weeks at a time, trying to catch those bigger market swings. It fits a busy schedule way better than being glued to a screen all day. So this profile is really interesting because here your skill level is low. If you have the appetite for risk, the time, and the money, but not that deep technical knowledge, the source actually suggests trading U.S. stocks. And the thinking here is that the U.S. market is more mature. There's just a massive amount of public information, analysis, and news available, which can make it a more transparent place for someone who's still learning the ropes. Okay, quick pause. We've got to clarify something really important here. The profiles we've looked at so far, they lean heavily towards trading, active, short-term stuff. The next few are going to shift more towards investing, which is a more passive, long-term game about building wealth slowly over time. It's a really crucial distinction. And here is our first investing-focused profile. Low risk and low money, but you've got high time and high skill. The suggestion here is investing in those same blue-chip U.S. stocks like Apple or Google. With high skill, you can do the deep research to find solid companies for the long haul. And the great news is, on a lot of platforms today, you can get started with really small amounts of capital. Now, what if you're high risk and have high time, but you're working with low money and low skill?
The source suggests trading stock ETFs. So an ETF is an exchange-traded fund. The easiest way to think about it is like a basket that holds a whole bunch of different stocks, but you can buy and sell that whole basket as if it were a single stock. This gives you instant diversification, which is awesome for someone who doesn't have the skill or the money to pick individual winners.
This is a super common one. Low risk, low time, and low money, but high skill. The suggestion here is investing in mutual funds. Now, your high skill isn't for trading the market. It's for picking the right fund and a good fund manager. The source specifically suggests that a good place to start could be money market funds. They're a type of mutual fund that invests in really safe, short-term debt.
Okay, we've covered a ton of combinations, but what happens if you have low scores in multiple key areas, especially money and skill? Well, this is where the advice from the source takes a sharp and I think a very practical turn. Let's see what that means. So take a look at these three profiles. Do you see the common denominator? It's low money and low skill. For any of these combinations, the source basically argues that trying to get rich by picking the right investment, well, it might not be the best use of your energy. The main focus needs to be somewhere else entirely. And here it is. This is a direct quote from the source material, which is in Indonesian. It says, "Intinya kerja boss." The message is blunt, but it's powerful. It translates to, essentially, work boss. The point is, if you have very little money to invest and not much skill to guide you, the absolute best return on your time and energy is going to come from increasing your income. Focus on your career, build a side hustle, level up your skills, build that financial foundation first. So you've found your profile on the cheat sheet. You've got your match. But we absolutely cannot end this right there. The most important part is understanding what this cheat sheet actually is and what it is not. This is, without a doubt, the most important slide we're going to look at. The creator of this framework is crystal clear. This is not financial advice. Think of this as a guide to help you start learning. It gives you a direction, a starting point for your own research. Please do not just take a suggestion from this and run with it. So, what's the big takeaway? Use this cheat sheet as a gateway. If it points you toward ETFs, your very next step is to go learn everything you possibly can about ETFs. And please remember, a real investment strategy isn't about putting 100% of your money into one thing. You've got to learn about portfolio allocation and how to weight different assets. This is just step one. So the board is set, the rules are clear, you've got your personal profile, and you have a starting point. The real game actually begins now. So the only question left is, what asset, what strategy, what topic are you going to go out and research first?